Fans flood hospital with gifts and messages. Wang Yibo moves to tears. The city never sleeps, but that night, the hospital seemed to carry the heartbeat of millions. Outside, the rain had softened into a mist, and the streets were lit not only by the glow of neon, but by the steady stream of fans gathering under umbrellas, clutching flowers, cards, and handmade banners. News of Xiaozhan's collapse had traveled faster than fire, and the world seemed to tilt on its axis as Wang Iba stood at his side, refusing to let go. No one expected what came next, the overwhelming tidal wave of love, fear, and prayers from fans who refused to stand by quietly. The flood begins. It started with a single bouquet of white lilies, left quietly at the hospital's front steps by a trembling fan in the dead of night. Within an hour, there were dozens. By morning, the hospital lobby looked like a festival of devotion. Rows upon rows of flowers, teddy bears, handwritten notes, and photographs of Xiaozhan smiling filled every inch of available space. Nurses whispered in awe, doctors slowed their steps to take it in, and strangers who didn't even know the star paused to watch the spectacle unfold. The most moving part? It wasn't just fans from China. Messages came from all corners of the globe: Japan, Korea, Thailand, the US, and Europe. Social media platforms lit up with a storm of hashtags. Hashtag Stay Strong Xiaozhan. Hashtag Iba with Zhan Forever. Hashtag Prayers for Xiaozhan. Even celebrities joined in, posting tributes and urging strength. And in the middle of it all, one man stood quietly at the edge of Xiaozhan's hospital room, overwhelmed. Wong Iba. Iba's silent vigil. Iba had barely slept. His body ached, but his heart hurt more. He sat in the dim light of room 307, Xiaozhan's hand clasped tightly in his own. Every beep of the monitor was a reminder of fragility, every shallow breath a silent prayer. But when Xiaozhan stirred faintly, whispering his first fragile words after regaining consciousness, "Don't cry, Iba. I'll be fine." Something inside Wang Iba cracked wide open. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to feel everything. He cried. Not the controlled tears of a public figure, but the raw sobs of a man afraid of losing the one person who mattered more than his own life. He didn't notice when a nurse tapped his shoulder and pointed toward the window. It was only when he turned that he saw it. Fans outside the hospital gates, their phones glowing like fireflies, their voices soft as they sang together. "You're not alone. We're here with you." Iba pressed his lips together, trying to hold back the flood of emotions, but his chest heaved. These weren't just fans. They were family. They were the invisible threads binding him and Xiaozhan to the world. The gifts that spoke louder than words. Hospital staff soon began delivering the mountain of gifts to a designated room. Iba eventually found himself standing in that space, eyes wide at the sheer magnitude of love displayed before him. There were letters written in trembling handwriting, each telling Xiaozhan how much his courage inspired them. Handmade photo books filled with fan art, showing scenes of Wang Iba and Xiaozhan holding hands, smiling together, fighting side by side. Prayer candles and origami cranes, folded one by one, with notes saying, "Each crane carries a wish for his recovery." A massive quilt stitched together by hundreds of fans, each square representing a different city, with words embroidered, "Heal with our warmth." But one gift shattered Wang Iba's composure completely. It was a framed photo of Xiaozhan with a child he had helped during a charity project years ago. Taped below the photo was a simple note written in a child's handwriting. "Please get better soon, big brother. You are my hero." Iba stared at it for a long time, his throat closing, his vision blurred. And then the tears came, unstoppable. He sank onto a bench, clutching the frame against his chest, whispering through broken sobs. "Do you see this, Xiaozhan? Do you see how much they love you? You're not allowed to give up, not now, not ever." An emotional scene caught on camera. Unknown to him, a nurse quietly filmed the moment, not to exploit, but to show the fans outside what their love had done. Within hours, the video went viral. Wang Iba in a simple hoodie, eyes red, holding onto Xiaozhan's photo like it was life itself, whispering promises between sobs. The world reacted with a collective gasp. Fans wrote, "I've never seen Iba like this. It's so real, so raw." They've always been more than colleagues. This proves it. Protect them both at all costs. This love is once in a lifetime. The video became a symbol of devotion, and even skeptics who once doubted their bond were silenced. Xiao Zhan awakens to love. When Xiao Zhan woke again the next day, weak but more aware, Iba was right there, holding his hand. The first thing Iba did was bring him a stack of letters. "Look," he said softly, placing them on Xiao Zhan's lap. "They stayed up all night writing these for you. They filled the lobby with flowers. They sang outside your window. Do you know how loved you are?" Xiao Zhan's tired eyes filled with tears as he carefully opened the first envelope. His hands trembled as he read the shaky handwriting. "Zhanji, you taught me how to be brave. Please be brave now for us." He covered his mouth, his shoulders shaking. Silent tears rolled down his cheeks. And then he looked up at Iba. They did all this," he whispered. Iba nodded, his own eyes wet.
"Yes.
"And so will I.
I won't leave you, Zhan."
Not tonight, not tomorrow. Never." The room grew still, the weight of those words settling into every corner. A midnight promise. Later that night, after family members had gone home and the hospital grew quiet, Xiao Zhan turned weakly toward Iba. "Why are you still here?" he asked, voice hoarse. Iba leaned forward, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "Because where else would I be?"
"You scared me, Zhan. I thought I'd lose you."
"And then I saw what the fans did. I realized we're not alone. So I'm staying right here, as long as you need me." Xiao Zhan's lips curved into the faintest smile, his eyes glassy. "Then promise me you'll stay even when I'm difficult. Even when I hide things. Promise you won't give up on me." Without hesitation, Iba took his hand and pressed it firmly to his chest. "I promise. If you fall, I'll catch you. If you're weak, I'll be strong for both of us. I swear it." It wasn't just a vow. It was destiny sealing itself. The world reacts. By dawn, photos of the hospital overflowing with gifts, candles glowing at the gates, and the viral video of Wong Iba's tears dominated every platform. Journalists reported it not as gossip, but as a phenomenon, proof of how love, both romantic and communal, could shake the world. One headline read, "A nation holds its breath. Xiao Zhan fights. Iba weeps. Fans unite." Another, "The collapse that brought them closer than ever." Even critics softened, moved by the sheer humanity of the story. The hospital had seen emergencies before, late-night sirens, frantic family members pacing corridors, doctors rushing through the halls, but it had never seen this. The entrance resembled the gates of a stadium after a concert, only instead of thunderous cheers, the night was alive with hushed prayers, trembling voices, and thousands of candles that flickered like stars fallen to earth. The night outside. By 9 p.m., fans had gathered in numbers that stunned even the hospital staff. Police officers were called to manage the crowds, not because they were unruly, but because the love was overwhelming. Young girls held signs written in shaky marker ink. "Xiao Zhan, our strength is yours. Iba, stay strong for him. 2 hearts, 1 fight." Others stood silently, holding candles and bowing their heads in prayer. Some even brought guitars and softly strummed Xiao Zhan's favorite songs, their voices trembling in the night air. It wasn't just fans. Taxi drivers passing by stopped to leave bottled water for the crowd. Local restaurants sent trays of food to make sure no one went hungry. Nurses on break walked outside to thank them, whispering, "He can feel this. Don't stop." The hospital was no longer just a building. It had transformed into a shrine of hope. Inside the hospital, Wong Iba watched it all unfold from behind the glass window of the waiting lounge. His reflection stared back at him, pale, exhausted, but with eyes shining from unshed tears. One of the security guards approached him gently. "Mr. Wang, this is the first time I've seen something like this. They won't go home. They said they'll wait until he's safe." Iba's lips parted, but no words came. His chest tightened as he glanced back at Xiao Zhan's room, where machines still beeped rhythmically, where his hand still lay cold beneath the sheets. They won't leave him. Neither will I, he thought. A message from the lobby. The head nurse entered the room, holding a basket filled to the brim with small envelopes. She placed it on the table before Iba. These are just from the last 2 hours, she said softly. Fans are writing nonstop. They said, maybe you can read them to him. It might help. Iba hesitated. His fingers hovered over the letters as though they were too sacred to touch. Finally, he picked one up. The handwriting was messy, but the words were steady. Xiaozhan, you once told us to be brave in the face of storms. Now, it's our turn to tell you. Don't give up. We'll lend you our courage. The words blurred as Iba's vision filled with tears. He quickly wiped his face, but the nurse had already seen. You don't have to hide it, she whispered. It's okay to cry here. For the first time that night, Wang Iba allowed himself to fully break. He pressed the letter to his chest and sank into the chair, shoulders shaking. He cried not as a celebrity, not as a man under constant public scrutiny, but as someone desperately afraid of losing the person who carried half his soul. The unseen gift. Later that evening, when Iba finally walked into the room filled with gifts, one object caught his eye among the ocean of flowers and stuffed animals. It was a small glass jar. Inside were hundreds of folded paper stars, each glimmering under the fluorescent lights. A tag tied to the lid read, "1 star for every night will wait for him to heal." Iba unscrewed the jar and picked up one fragile star. He unfolded it carefully, revealing a tiny message. Heal soon, Gidge. You are the light we cannot lose. One by one, he unfolded more, each star carrying a different wish. Some were simple. Get well soon. Others were painfully personal. I was bullied, but your smile gave me strength. Please don't leave. By the 10th star, Iba was on his knees, clutching the jar to his chest. His tears fell silently into the glass, as if sealing the fans' prayers with his own. The video that shook the world. A volunteer nurse happened to capture the moment. Iba kneeling in front of the jar of stars, shoulders trembling, whispering, "He has to wake up. Please, he has to." The video wasn't meant to go public. But somehow, within hours, it spread across fan groups, then media outlets, then the entire internet. Screens around the world lit up with the sight of Wang Iba, always stoic, always composed, now breaking apart in the most human way possible. Comments flooded instantly. I never believed in soulmates until now. Iba's tears, they're proof of how deep this bond goes. This isn't just fandom. This is family. The hashtag #IbaForJean trended globally. A whisper that changed everything. By midnight, Iba returned to Xiaozhan's bedside. His eyes were swollen, his hands trembling, but his voice was steady as he read fan letters aloud. Dear Xiaozhan, don't be afraid. We are with you in every heartbeat. When you open your eyes, we'll be here. He placed the letter down, then bent close to Xiaozhan's ear. Did you hear that, John? They're waiting. I'm waiting. You don't get to leave us. For a moment, the only reply was the soft beep of machines. But then, ever so faintly, Xiaozhan's fingers twitched against his palm. Iba froze. His breath caught. Tears spilled once again as he whispered, almost laughing through the sobs. That's it, John. Come back to me. Come back to us.